And this week we are diving into Deadstream. Found this one on Shudder. This week was my pick. Next week will be hers. I'm sure I'm going to make up for it after choosing this one this week. So Deadstream from 2022. This is directed by Joseph and Vanessa Winter. This was sort of a found footagey, supernatural, bloggy, twitchy style thing. Overall, this movie made $1 million or so from various box office. Shudder Skull rating, gave it a 4 out of 5.
It did.
And Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it a 91.
91, I know.
And the audience of 77.
Yeah.
So this was pretty well received, I'd say, all around. So why don't you just give a quick little synopsis of what this movie is for those that don't know.
So pretty much Deadstream is following our main character, Sean Rudy, who is played by Joseph Winter, the director as well. And essentially he's trying to gain back his fandom after he had a little mishap. So apparently what he does, he like goes around and does crazy ridiculous things for his stream, like it's kind of like live stream Twitch and stuff like that. And apparently he got himself into some stuff where he paid a homeless man to fight him, put him in the hospital, lost all his followers, lost all his monetary value. So now he's doing the craziest thing he's ever done, supposedly, which is going to a haunted house and staying overnight and checking everything out in hopes of gaining back his following and his monetary value. Yeah,
so he's sort of like a Mr. Beast, Logan Paul style character.
Exactly.
So let's get into the good of this movie. For me, the good, I think no matter how good or bad a found footage movie is, I still get that anxiety. That like suspense still always gets me. Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, and then this. Now, obviously this is on that level, but for me, that factor still plays in these movies, and I think that this movie got an advantage being that for me personally. The idea was fun. You know, the found footage has kind of been done a million times.
Right.
This is the first time I had seen it done in this fashion where it was done by a streamer, I guess is the best term for him. And then there was one, and I just put it as the Gollum scare. Whatever that makeup was that looked like a Gollum-y creature that popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. I didn't mind the makeup and prosthetics for that particular scene. What did you find good from this movie?
So like you said, as much as I love jump scares in movies and kind of stuff like that, and so this is a horror comedy, so I really didn't expect too many scares from it, but there were some scenes that actually got me pretty good. There's one scene of him sitting in the closet hiding from the ghost of Mildred, and she pops up right from his down under area and bites him and pretty much
right in the junk.
Yeah, pretty much bites him right in the junk, which was actually pretty good, and it scared the crap out of me. There's a couple, the way that it is, the found footage, I still feel like the cinematography, I guess you could say, of it was pretty good as well. And some of the comedy that was enveloped in it as well was also pretty good.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the bad then. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot more bad to say than about good in this movie, unfortunately. With how, honestly, I just feel like a lot of movies recently that I haven't liked as much have been pretty well received. And I've seen Deadstream on Shudder pop up before, and I tried to get into it before, couldn't watch it, and when Nick said he picked it, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Unfortunately, the horror comedies don't really do it for me unless it's intentional and done well enough, I guess you could say, because I feel like this was more so... Right, exactly. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah.
Evil Dead.
And I feel like I couldn't get a good grip on if they were actually trying to be, like, trying to involve the horror more than the comedy, because I feel like a lot of stuff that was supposed to be scary was more so kind of funny. And I just feel like the main character himself was just kind of over the top and a little bit annoying to me, and I feel like it was just kind of cheesy, and I usually like cheese, and I usually like really like B-grade movies and stuff like that, and I feel like this just didn't really do it for me. So I just wish that it was a little more, how do I say, I mean, well put together, I guess. It was put together for what it was. It was really well. I mean, I didn't know it made $1 million. It's honestly pretty good for
it's way more
the
than
budget.
I expected.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the budget probably wouldn't have been that much, but it was filmed in Utah, which was pretty cool, so the house that they filmed it at, the haunted house that they filmed it at, was real, which I liked, but just kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah. I put the acting.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
acting, that's what I was trying to say. The character was over the top, the acting wasn't very good.
I commend Joseph.
Yes.
Joe.
Yeah.
I guess we're on first name basis. For doing this, because like that's the dream, right? Making a movie, acting in it, doing your whole shtick, making it in a sense that it can be shot, you know, by you in one setting. You can kind of bang out a good story, but it's just not a lead actor. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's great effort. I'm glad that you got to do it.
Yeah.
But acting might not be the main point that you should be sticking behind. The makeup, like I said, the golem creature looked really good. I thought some of the makeup was a little iffy.
The different shots that you would see of Mildred,
when Mildred was
wasn't terrible, but
see, I didn't buy it.
It definitely wasn't viable. It definitely wasn't viable. But there was some shots of her close up that where you could see the makeup detail and stuff like that, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, some quick shots like that, but there's some shots in particular where it just looked completely whited out. Like it just, it looked more just like of the actress versus true character.
Yes.
And I was really sick of the nose picking.
The nose was the absolute worst thing ever. And that's what I said. That comedy that they put in there, I just don't think stuff like that's funny.
Not all the comedy stuck for me.
No.
I appreciate it. You know, they're definitely trying to get Evil Dead vibes, but it just was not Evil Dead vibes.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
pulled the whole fingernail out of the nose.
Yeah, Sam Raimi, you are not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. You know, most people are not. You know, I'd say pretty much every other person on the planet is not Sam Raimi. So that's fine. You know, you don't have to be. I appreciate the homage, but it would just... there's a reason why it's only really been done that one time. Top moment. What's your top moment of this movie? Besides the end. For you.
I was gonna... Not really that more so, but honestly... The best part, I think, about this whole movie was when we met the character Chrissy. I thought when she came into play, she was kind of it was kind of fun. She was kind of creepy, kind of threw me off. She was kind of like popping in and out, disappearing out of nowhere.
Stalkery.
The twist of her actually being the ghost of Mildred and Mildred just playing this young figure to try to get to Sean and stuff like that. I feel like that was the best twist of the whole movie. I really didn't see that.
That was cool. I do wish it was played out a little bit more, and you know, it switched so quickly. It went from Chrissy to Mildred.
Right.
There was no ground for me to question, is she, isn't she? There's no moments where it's like, oh, I know she is, and then she does something, it's like, no, there's no way she could be.
Right.
But now I wish that played out to like the end.
Yeah.
I wish that was the end.
I wish they did more with
the last 30 minutes of him, you know, whatever, doing against Mildred.
And honestly, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but for being a character in a horror comedy film, he was actually, I know we always talk crap saying, like when you're watching a movie and you're like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? He did pretty much everything right.
Ran to the closet 14 times.
Ran to the closet 14 times. That would have been me. Ended up jumping out of the window, breaking his own leg to escape. Finally, I'm glad that he actually went with that and made it like a little more realistic to make it feel him being, you could
buy it a little
bit. Exactly.
Yeah. I think my favorite moment was the, I just wrote down dick bite. That was probably my favorite moment, was the Mildred just right between the crotch, which is, again, very Raimi-esque. So I do like that part. Best death / kill. There really wasn't, because it was such a...
That's why it was tough for me to pick this one, because they didn't really have like an actual...
There really wasn't much.
Kill.
No, I mean, and really the only one I have, because... Obviously, Sean just kind of, it's left ambiguous what happens. Yeah. But really the only one is Mildred. He chops his own finger off, sacrifices, sends her back to hell, and then claims the spirits as his own. So I guess that really fills the void for the best kill / death.
Exactly.
So let's jump into our ratings, the fear and beer ratings. Fear is a scale of 1 through 5, how scary. Beer is a 1 through 5 of how much fun or how good this one was. So fear rating, what would you put this as?
I'm gonna give the fear rating a 2 for this one.
Okay, I'll meet you at the 2 because a lot of that stuff I was mentioning earlier, that suspense, that stuff did play, and I think because just how it is the found footage, I think it's an easy way to get that. But it still worked.
Yeah, like I said, there was a couple like good jump scares, like the part where he turned around, Chrissy was gone, she popped back up in frame of the camera really quick when he panned back around and stuff like that. Just certain little stuff, the crotch biting scene, obviously that really scared me, but certain stuff like that was pretty good. More jump scares than the whole ambiance of the film being scary, I guess.
Yeah. So then beer rating. How good was this? 1 through 5 for you. Where'd you sit?
I'm gonna give this a 1.5.
Oh, all right. If you didn't see how it, I was
know,
probably
I know.
off screen,
I was
but I
gonna
was
say,
saying
right.
she's gonna do a 1. I'll give it a. You said 1.5.
Yeah. I don't know if we're doing half ratings, but I'm gonna do a half rating.
I don't
Because
want.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because
I'll
honestly,
give it a 2. I'll go 2.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 1.5, but I don't
Yeah.
want to just match you on everything. So
he directed it.
give it a 2.
He
It
did
was
all the
fun.
takes. He was the main character himself. For what it was for someone coming out with this, probably like a lower budget of a film, it was
Yeah.
done well enough.
Yeah, this is a fun movie to throw on at a
Yeah.
party or something, and just kind of it's kind of like the old from Scream, where they're just
Right. Yeah.
party movie.
Mhm.
All right, well that is it for Shudder Sundays. Check back next week. We will have another surprise for you to find on Shudder.
For my pick.
This is her pick. All right, guys. Well, until next time, this is Nick.
This is Jamie.
Happy haunts.